Hey playa, as we get closer to Valentine's Day, I wanted to share a story with you about how I got tricked by my crush on Valentine's Day. I thought it was going to be a one-on-one hangout, but it ended up being something totally different.
This is the Just Beats, you're watching the Just Beat.
For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single week I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. So if you want to learn and grow, hit the subscribe button and make sure to click on the notification bell. Allow me to set up the scene for you. This was a girl that I was hanging out with pretty regularly. Every single day we would talk or we would hang out. So I developed a crush on her, and when Valentine's Day rolled around, she turned around and told me, hey, we should hang out on Valentine's Day, which to me meant one thing. Finally, this girl that I had a major crush on actually liked me back. All this time talking to her and flirting with her and joking around with her was actually leading to something that I wanted to do, which was to date her. So when she was ready to actually spend Valentine's Day with me, I took that as a huge step up. Here was my crush asking me out on Valentine's Day. Now look, I wouldn't really say I was the most confident person. I was still incredibly shy whenever I was around this girl, but I was able to kind of fake it and pretend like everything was cool. So I had to kind of go into this situation with the same kind of attitude, not letting my nerves get the best of me, but telling myself, alright, this is your opportunity to actually make a move and make something happen. When I got home from work, I immediately ran to CVS to see if I could get a card or candy or a teddy bear or something Valentine's Day related. I wanted this event to actually be special, so I went through the aisles and saw everything ransacked. You ever go to CVS on Valentine's Day to get something for Valentine's Day? It's a madhouse. Things are all over the place, things are falling from the ceiling, it's a crazy place. But luckily enough, I was able to find a card that I felt really captured what I felt. Now the problem wasn't so much what the card said, but what I wrote in the card. In the card, I made sure to establish, I really enjoy our friendship and I think you'll always be a really good friend to me. Now, I had a huge crush on this girl, but for some reason, I felt like I needed to throw in that friend line to not make things awkward or weird, for her to think it was too romantic, which I think was my first mistake. I continued on though, went home, showered, got ready, and then when the time came, I asked my dad to drive me over to the restaurant where we were going to actually be meeting up. And when I got there, I texted her letting her know that I was there, and she responded with, "We're inside." We're inside. Well, did she mean we as in me and her, as in she was speaking in the future tense that I was going to be in there, or did she mean what she actually meant, which was that there was someone else there? So I headed on inside. Already my heart was starting to drop because I realized this wasn't going to be a one-on-one date. I felt like I had gotten kind of tricked by her because earlier when she told me we should spend Valentine's Day together, I thought it was just going to be us, but it was actually something totally different. When I get inside, I see it's her and another girl that's her friend that I sort of casually know. So at first I felt kind of bummed out because it wasn't one-on-one, but I thought, hey, I could still talk to both of them. I could try to flirt with both of them. I can make this situation work. As I was talking to them, I decided to try to use the other girl as a way to make my crush jealous. So I spent a lot of the time talking to the other girl, flirting with her, and using all these different kinds of PUA techniques that I was learning. PUA means pickup artist, and at the time there were a lot of guys sharing tips and information online, little techniques you can use when you're dating someone or trying to get someone's attention, and the one I decided to use here was called the triangular gaze. Now I've talked about this in a previous video, I'll link it up over here, but basically the triangular gaze is this. You're looking at someone's left eye, and then their right eye, and then down at their lips, and you're creating this triangular pattern that's kind of a gaze that's supposed to get them more involved in listening to you. So far, things were going pretty good. Both girls were kind of paying attention to me, which was working to my advantage because I was telling them techniques and stories and all these different things. But as I launched into the second technique called the cube, the first girl called me out and said, I already know that one because some guy already tried it on me. For a second there, I got kind of nervous because I was afraid she was going to ruin it for the second girl, so I kind of turned it into a joke and I was like, hey listen, you hush up, don't say anything, don't ruin it for her. As I launched into that second technique, the first girl was paying attention. She was intrigued by what I was doing, so I thought, alright, this is still working to my advantage. And that's when the whole night changed. I'm right in the middle of the cube story when I realized that our party of 3 is now going to become a party of 5. 2 other guys that's friends with my crush decided to also join us. She actually invited them out as well. So now here I am sitting with 2 other guys and these 2 girls, and these 2 guys, let me just tell you a little bit about them. Now I considered myself a little bold, a little bit of a storyteller, someone who kind of commanded attention in the room. But these guys came in talking loud, telling stories, just totally shutting down anything that I was doing or saying at the table. And that led to the second mistake that I was making that night. I allowed these guys to get in my head. I was much more focused on what the girls thought of them rather than what I was presenting to the girls. So I kind of retreated back in my seat, felt quiet, and just felt insecure compared to them. Here were these two guys with their fancy clothes and their fancy cars and just larger than life, and there I was sitting next to them trying to just be confident in myself. Now where it really started to hurt was the fact that all of them spoke the same foreign language, so they started speaking their language and I just kind of sat there, nodding along, not knowing what anyone was saying. I felt incredibly left out of the conversation and I just didn't really want to be there anymore. But I held on with the high hope that somehow, some way, my crush would still want to just leave them and spend the night alone with me. Now, realistically, was that going to happen given everything that was going on? No, but I had that hope. The two guys started to brag about all the girls they would date, how they would work together to pick up girls, and then when the waitress came over, they started to flirt with her and they became instant friends with her as well, which wowed one of the girls at the table, but it really annoyed my crush. She started to go on a rant about how all guys are the same. There's no creativity or originality to any of them. They all like the same things, they all act the same ways, and that's when the guy responded back to her, yeah, because girls don't like nice guys, and we're not nice guys. And then she said something that was deeply hurtful to me, but I realized why she said it, and she said, yeah, but Josh is a nice guy, which got me to really retreat inside. I quickly jumped in and said, hold on, there's a difference between nice guys and soft guys. Guys that are high quality and guys that are not. I'd like to think that I'm a nice guy that's high quality. I'm not a soft guy or a weak guy, which she kind of agreed with, but still it stung when she said that. After that, both guys just kind of looked at each other and laughed at what I said, and they responded with, listen, nice guys are the kind of guys that girls will walk all over. So if that's you, man, then that's you. Which really kind of dug me deeper into that insecurity bubble. Here I was trying to impress my crush, trying to get her attention, and these two guys just bombastically kind of took over the scene, made me feel small, and I just kind of ate it all up. At the end of the night, both guys decided they wanted to go pick up girls, so they went off to a club to go do their own thing, and I decided to head home with my crush and the other girl. And we all got into the car and we went to drop off the first girl, and after we did, the rest of the car ride back was awkward and silent. Here I was sitting there in the passenger seat next to my crush who was driving, and she just kind of had this sad, depressed look on her face after the conversation we had with those two guys. When I started to talk to her about it, she told me that she felt kind of hurt by what they said. In her mind, she had this idealistic version of love and romance, that guys actually wanted to be with girls, that they loved girls, that they cared about them, they wanted to get to know them better. Now here I was sitting in the other seat going, ding dong, I'm right over here. But the problem was I didn't actually do anything other than just respond to her by saying things like, yeah, hold on, there are some bad guys out there, but there are good guys out there. Trust me on that. When we got to my house, she delivered another subtle blow by saying something like, listen, Josh, you're such a good guy, and I'm sure there's a great girl out there for you, which left me feeling like, yeah, but why isn't that you? Well, the night was ending, so I decided I had to do something here. When I went to give her a hug and a kiss on the cheek, I stared at her for a second and punked out. I was too scared to actually go for the kiss and make a move. It all happened so fast, and I felt like I was in my head the whole time that when I closed the door and I walked inside my house and saw her drive away, I started to beat myself up about how I messed up this opportunity. Here I was beating myself up because I didn't make the move. I didn't express how I really felt. Instead, I retreated back to the safety of playing the friend card and just being there for her when that wasn't really how I felt. And that was the third mistake that I made. I wasn't being honest and genuine about how I felt. And at the end of the night on Valentine's Day, I felt like I wasted my opportunity. Look, at the end of the day, maybe the romantic feelings were one-sided. Maybe I really liked her and she only saw me as just a friend. I never really did find out. But the thing that I learned from that experience was this, that if you do have feelings for someone and you do want to build something with them, you have to be honest and you have to be open. If you're going to pretend to be a friend and play along with things like that, well then you're only going to make it harder for yourself when the opportunity does arise. And if you do act as a friend and try to approach your crush and do something romantic, you might throw them off guard and it might shock them and make them realize, wow, you weren't actually a real friend to me. You were just pretending to be a friend so you can get closer to me. Now I share this story with you not to bum you out about Valentine's Day, but to inspire you. I want you to go after your crush. I want you to make a move. I want you to stop hiding in the shadows, and I want you to deal with the real world effects of telling someone that you like them and asking them out. Now, if you want to hear more stories from my life about other dating experiences that I had, check out the playlist over there on the side. And I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons. These are the people that help support the channel and make it grow. If you want to learn more about how you can be a patron and talk to me one-on-one every single month, check out the link right there. And on that note, guys, I'll catch you next time. Happy Valentine's Day, love, and peace.